mind you, I was one of the ardent supporters.
I remember.
But he has been a complete disappointment to me. And I feel, hey, this is not the person I supported. Hey, this is not the person I thought would bring in far-reaching reforms. Today, there is no reform, zero reforms. I think, I was very critical of Mahathir. But today, at the end of the day, and I start looking at all the prime ministers, I feel that I think Anwar is much more worse than other prime ministers.
Good afternoon. Welcome to ZAID IBRAHIM Podcast. We have today, once again, Professor Ramasamy, a good friend from Penang. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Zaid.
You have not moved here, no?
Eh?
You have not moved here?
No, I haven't. Still thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay, it's good for you to come because I saw you the other day in Dataran Mereka.
Yes.
For the rally.
Yes.
But before we start, I just want to remind readers, if you can like and subscribe. That will help us to get a bit more numbers, and that will be good for business. Okay, thank you. Now, back to Saturday. I saw a very large crowd. I don't know whether 100,000 or maybe less, maybe more, but it's a very good turnout. For the first time, Perikatan Nasional mobilized the people to show their feelings towards our Prime Minister. Yeah? Now, I just want to ask you first, what's your take on the Indian participation?
Okay. Overall, I think the participation, as you mentioned, Datuk Zaid, I think it's a fantastic participation. In fact, I never expected that participation. And I was there, I started off from the controversial Hindu temple in Masjid, India, to Sogo and then to Dataran Mereka. And from Sogo, I think as far as I can see, I just saw a sea of people.
Yeah.
The conservative estimate puts around ridiculously 15,000-20,000. But I would think it will be beyond 100 or even 200,000. That is my estimate. And I think some press also quoted me on that. No? Okay, coming to Indian participation, we brought our members. Urume brought members from Penang, Selangor, Wilayah, and there were some members from Negeri Sembilan. So the Indian crowd was not a huge crowd. I think you can even count, And there were also other Indians from other political parties aligned with PN or PAS. So I think the question is, this is not the end. This is the beginning.
Yeah.
And the question is, I think, foremost in our mind is, how can the opposition, the PN, actually approach the Indians? How they can actually deal with this very negative narrative that has been created against PAS, against PN by the PH-led coalition, and specifically DAP and PKR. So I think that narrative has to be dealt with very seriously, and this was my discussion that I had with the Deputy President of PAS, Anwar Ibrahim, today. And I say, look here, I think this is a problem, and I think this is a narrative. I think you have to deal with it, because it's not that automatically the Chinese and Indians will come to the side of the PN if you don't deal with this negativity that has been portrayed for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, unfortunately, I don't have anyone representing the Chinese community here to ask them.
Yes.
But I also noticed that the participation is almost negligible.
Negligible, yes.
Now, I ask myself, why? Okay, firstly, like you said, they probably think this is organized by PAS.
Yeah.
They're not going to support it. Okay, but it is organized by a larger Malay group.
Yeah.
But are the Chinese happy with this government? I mean, let me ask you this: what's your assessment? Even the Indians they may not turn up, but I cannot believe they're happy with this government.
Exactly, Zaid. I think just because the Chinese and Indian didn't turn up in significant number, that doesn't mean they're happy with the present government. I think they might have their own reasons to not turning up, as a way they turned up for Brusay. Remember Brusay movement, and it's just that they looked at the Turun Anwar rally as a very Malay-based rally, and more so opposition, without the significant participation of, say, non-Malay Chinese Indian political parties. So I think you're right. Just as because the Chinese and Indians turn up in huge numbers, that doesn't mean they're happy with the Pakatan Harapan government. As you know, if you look at the recent by-election, the Chinese turnout during by-election was actually dismal. And also Indians to some extent. So I think basically there's a disenchantment among the non-Malay Chinese Indians in regard to the Pakatan Harapan government. Then the question is not so much against the Indians. The question of Chinese, now what is the alternative for them? And so the DAP was once the alternative to Pakatan Nasional, to MCA, even to MIC. But today that alternative is slowly disappearing from the radar. And I think they're looking at it and say, what is the alternative? And if there's no alternative, I think they're trying to show their frustrations by being disinterested, by not taking part in elections, so on and so forth.
Okay. I just want to another aspect on that day. There are some supporters of Najib Razak. With their posters of Najib, coming along. Obviously, these are from UMNO members. I'm not sure how sizable or how big are the group, but at least it's the presence of Najib is there. Now, on the issue of Najib, I want to ask you, are the non-Malays still unhappy with him, especially on the issue of addendum, on the issue of the pardon, the so-called pardon or half pardon that the former Agong gave? For the Malays generally, they accept that. They accept that this is the king's prerogative, and they are willing to let Najib come out if the government will allow. Of course, Anwar won't allow, but the Malays generally would accept. But the non-Malays, especially the Chinese, somehow I sense they still don't like Najib very much.
I think there was a recent survey done, and I've also commented on the survey. I think more than 50% Malays, I think they are supportive. I mean, they have no problem with the addendum. Now, even possibly a pardon for Najib. I think the support for Najib is high among Indians, over 60%. 60%. And the Chinese, 90% are opposed to Najib when been considered on the basis of an addendum or even a pardon. Now, I think the Chinese dislike, I mean, apart from the fact that he has stolen money and all these things, the Chinese dissatisfaction must be seen in relation to the narrative that DAP and the Pakatan Harapan developed before the 2018 election. I think that actually was pivotal in terms of actually bringing down Najib. Of course, that was actually helped by our former Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. But I think today, and if I told the Chinese, I don't think Najib deprived the Chinese as such, but I think it was the dominant narrative of the DAP. And Najib was evil, Najib was bad, and so that actually galvanized the Chinese to go against Najib, go against the former Barisan government. So Indians might have supported the Pakatan Harapan government, but I think the thing against, the reason why, they asked me why the Indians, because they feel among the prime ministers, he's the one who actually assisted the Indian community, especially in getting matriculation seats, and also he created about 3 new Tamil schools. So they look at him, I mean, fair enough. I mean, he's this huge, the hefty money that was lost and all from the 1MDB funds and everything. But they have a very different perspective of Najib. So I think when you say non-Malays, I think that nomenclature is not very appropriate. I think you have to see who are the non-Malays. Are they Chinese or Indians or others?
Now, okay, I want to come back to the Chinese because The Chinese seems to be, like you said, 90% don't like Najib, don't even agree with the pardon, don't agree with the addendum. So obviously they're very upset with people who are involved in fraud or scam. But how come they're not so angry with MBI? MBI, I think it's 300 billion maybe. Maybe 5-10 times more than 1MDB. A lot of ordinary people lost money, particularly in the north. And more so in China. 2 million people, Chinese national invested in this scheme, this Ponzi scheme, lost money. But the Chinese don't think that don't take it on DAP. The Chinese seems to be happy with association of MBI with DAP. How come you are so upset with the Melayu leader, but you're okay with DAP Penang? How come?
I think you're right in terms of how this whole thing was perceived by the Chinese community. I mean, Najib's involvement in 1MDB, and then this MBI, this financial fiasco. I think because there was no narrative.
Nobody explained.
Nobody created the narrative as the way the narrative was created about Najib is 1MDB, etc., etc. I would think so, because I don't think even an ordinary person would create the narrative. The narrative is always associated with a major organization or political party. And I don't think the DAP is supposed to be the source of this narrative, especially among the Chinese. Basically went into this particular narrative for the MBI, the loss of money issue. The loss is colossal. It's not only ordinary people here, but ordinary people in China. So I think politically it was not in the interest of the DAP to create that kind of narrative. So that I think
But this is what I don't understand. If the Chinese were quite united against the UMNO leader, Najib, how come the Malay leaders in the opposition don't even raise this issue of MBI? I would have thought. I would have thought this is the prime target against DAP. The association of DAP and MBI is quite well known.
Yes. True.
So I don't know. Maybe the Malay leaders in the opposition are not very.
I think this also falls down in terms of the opposition. I think how effective is the PN opposition in state assemblies, in the state governments as in parliament. I think they're doing a fairly good job at parliament, I understand. But especially in Penang and everything, that I have been having some dialogues with past leaders and all in Penang. And in fact, some of my members have been advising on some of the serious issues in Penang. So I think in Penang, it's not that they are laid back. They're laid back. And some of the issues I think is also cropping out now. And sometimes, they seem to be not focusing on it. So maybe they have other priorities. I don't understand because I don't interact. I mean, occasionally I see them, but I don't interact with them closely. And even in fact, we would be asking, how come the opposition is not taking up these matters? These are very current matters, very lively matters. No, but I sometimes I don't understand why.
I was reading this. A friend who's a lawyer pointed out to me some newspaper cuttings I missed. Newspaper cuttings from Singapore, from elsewhere, about this MBI. And it would appear to me that the association of MBI with some very powerful people in this country, with the police, with the politicians, And I was even told that our Prime Minister has got a house or land or somewhere where he leased it from a Chinese tycoon who is associated with Teddy Teo. But how come nobody sees that?
Nobody picking up these things.
I mean, of course, MACC wouldn't look at it. The police won't look at it. But surely somebody must be asking some reasonable question. Is this true?
This is precisely the role of the opposition.
Yes.
And when the Pakatan Harapan opposition, I think they were more effective in raising issues against the government.
Yes.
than what is happening now, because they are in power now. No,
they know how to hide.
And I think the opposition. I think they. I watch Parliament, the proceedings in Parliament. They are raising issues, but a lot of issues have not been raised. Especially on the MBI matter, and looking at the nexus between those who actually ran the company and the local politicians.
Yes. Yeah? Because you see, MBI, the scam started way back in 2012.
Yes.
I mean, it's a long time. Before Teddy Tiao left for China, or escaped, or not escaped, he was extradited.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know whether you know, he went to Thailand first, southern Thailand. And he was there, and then he was extradited by Chinese government, for what he did. Not by us. Although, the scam, the Ponzi scheme, it caused a lot of suffering for our Chinese investors here. But, and this is the point that I want to make, if we want to put the leader accountable, whether UMNO leader, DAP leader, PKR leader, Yurima leader, it must be same standard.
Sure.
You cannot judge by different standard. If you say a prime minister cannot be involved in fraud and corruption, okay, it must apply to all.
Yes. True.
Yeah.
And I think this is, basically the kind of lacuna we have in terms of governance of this country today. And we have a prime minister, mind you, I was one of the ardent supporters.
I remember that.
I've been very critical of Dr. Mahathir for not handing over the baton to him.
Yeah.
And but here is the same person, same prime minister whom I supported, many supported people, thought that you're going to give a new vision to this country.
Yes.
But he has been a complete disappointment to me, and I feel, hey, this is not the person I supported.
Yeah.
Hey, this is not the person I thought would bring in far-reaching reforms. Today there is no reform, zero reforms. It's all the occasional rhetoric. But here is a prime minister. End of the day, I think I was very critical of Mahathir. But today, end of the day, and I start looking at all the prime ministers again, I feel that I think Anwar is much more worse than other prime ministers.
I think he's the worst.
He's the worst.
I think he's the worst. Worst in the sense that, in many ways. But you see, with Anwar, you see, there are many people who have many reasons to give why they don't like. If you ask Ibrahim Ali, your good friend, he said, I cannot accept Anwar because he's involved in sodomy. Because he was involved in sodomy. I cannot accept that. And then you have other people, Mahathir will have his own reason. Why? My concern about the man is that he doesn't follow the law. That's how I worry about it. It's like he can do whatever he wants. And where do you end? Where do you stop? Where do you, as a prime minister?
Yeah, I think my concern. Let me use the word concern, because end of the day, he's my prime minister.
Yeah,
he's the prime minister of this country. My concern is, I think there is, there's a complete lack of honesty and integrity. You're in a very high office. There's so much expectations for him.
Yeah.
I think the minimal standard, I think you have to be honest and sincere, which means basically to what you have raised is, I think you have to follow the law. You have to follow the constitution of this country.
Yeah.
You cannot say one thing, no, I don't interfere. But, you are legally and constitutionally, you can interfere. Yet he says, no, I didn't interfere.
Yeah.
And then he wants immunity for himself because of this civil suit by his former aide.
Yeah.
What kind of person is this?
And then remember the big hoo-ha about the judge's appointment?
Yeah.
You know what he said? No. Now I didn't nominate so and so as a Chief Justice.
Yeah.
But how do we know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Is he saying he did not nominate Tararuddin? Is he saying he nominated Wan Farid? Tell us.
No, to go back, if he says that, his approach is basically constitutional, fine. Then basically you are the person who will be advising the Agong, the appointment. But now he turns around and says, no, I have nothing to do with all this. Mana boleh.
Mana boleh.
And he said, no.
If you have nothing to do, you are abdicating your
responsibility. And then he appoints a chief judge who is a lot more junior, bypassing other senior judges.
22 other judges,
So what do you make out of this? No?
Anyway, see, so that is why I hope that the opposition get themselves better organized, and carry forward this momentum.
True.
To help not just Malays, to help the poor people, the Indians, the young fellows in this country, so that we can get the future. I mean, today I read about our debt. No, our national debt is so high. No, I think it won't be long before we are gone bust. To be honest with you, at the rate we are going.
Just last point on what you raised about the future. See, we are looking at the nature of democratic politics in this country, and I believe, and this today, and I have been having a series of discussions. In fact, I even saw Mukris that day. We had this United Front discussion headed by Mohideen. So I'm actually looking at it and say, how can we actually bring together the disparate forces together, and have a vision for the future. That's why even we're talking about in terms of operationalizing. In fact, Mukri suggests the idea of creating different coalition fronts for the Malay, predominantly Malay states, and for the states where there are big Chinese and Indian majorities. So why can't we think in a two-pronged approach in terms of bringing all these forces together? Because right now, if PN goes to these states like Penang, talking about right now, Penang, Selang and everything, again, it's all sparse-driven.
Yes.
And
that might put some people off.
Yeah. Why is it sparse-driven? I think PAS is just a political party to me. And they needed to do something, they had to do. But I'm looking at it basically. So how do you convince? How do you get the non-Malays to vote for?
Yeah, we have to package the opposition better, lah. That's what you're saying. We have to package and message it better.
Yes, if you have among the Malays, you're one face. Here, you're another different face.
Yeah.
But there is a unity among us. If not, I think it's very difficult. It will take time. I'm not saying it's impossible. Possible for especially the Chinese to come to the side of. Right now, they are disillusioned. They're frustrated. But I think the question is, what is going to tip the balance? I think if we can work out this strategy, this is why I'm discussing with you.
No, I appreciate what you are doing, because although we don't talk much, but I know you see the 15. Let's start with the Indian community. Let's put it this way. I told the same thing with the other leaders. The 15% in some places can be crucial.
Yeah.
Not all, but in some places, like say in Penang or in Negeri Sembilan or in Melaka, they're crucial.
Actually,
but the Indians are split as well. This is how.
There are 100 constituencies here, Parliament and State, where the Indian percentage ranges from 10% to 20% to 30%.
Yes,
30%. And they can actually play a very critical role during elections, I don't want to use the word kingmaker. I think that has been just this nonsensical word. No? But I think they can play. I think if they can actually join forces, I think some states can fall. Negeri Sembilan can fall because of Indian support.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought.
Yeah, there's a large Indian population, and some places in Penang is also critical. And I think even like the opposition, if you can look at the Indian votes. Leaving the Chinese for the moment aside, you find I think you can get support. I think the PN members will do, address some of the issues about the rights of Chinese, rights of Indian, their right to their religion, culture. These are very minimal things. Minimal things. And even Anwar Ibrahim was telling me, our past approach is this. We are not going to rob them of all these things. I think the problem with
you need the message and the messenger.
Yeah, see, the message is not reaching that. I mean, you put in Haraka, how many people are reading it?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. I think they are. To be fair to them, I think they have admitted they have not been. They know that in terms of meeting, in terms of their message to the Malays. I think I said, you once you do that, I think you can see changes.
You know, that's getting everybody to see the problem in the country, getting them to realize the problem in the country. And like you said, you know, we need the right people, we need the right message, we need the right people to send the message,
True.
and we need to do that often.
Yes,
often, you know.
I was just, I was just talking to the Mukris. I mean, he said when he met Adi Hawang and all these things, I said, what kind of a government, what kind of country you want? You want just a Malay government? They said, no, I think it should be multiracial. I mean, they recognize the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a Chinese Indian population about 40% population. So this has to be actually factored in. No?
Yeah.
I mean, they are not just statistical numbers, they are just human beings.
Yeah.
No?
In fact, Malaysia cannot function, cannot progress if you deny. I mean, these are people who contribute a lot to our welfare, our economy, you know, the Chinese, the Indians, and the Malays. You know? I mean, working together should not be a problem. Should not be a problem. You know? We just need a very strong leadership that will guide them and hold them together.
And I'm going to, I mean, ultimately, who the Indian support or not, it's left to them. Ultimately, I tell them, I think you have to think imaginatively. You have to think of yourself, you have to think of your children, you have to think of your grandchildren. We are going to live in this country and we are going to interact with the Malays. No? I think it's better for them to understand us and you for them to understand them as we move forward. No?
Yes.
Yeah. It cannot be an exclusive, it should be an inclusive move.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
In as much as, you know, we say the same thing to the Malays, especially to the extremist group. Yeah? You think you can run this country on your own. You can't. You know, you may have the number, but you need the cooperation of all races. And I think majority of Malays are like that. I mean, they have no problem understanding that.
Yeah.
And I hope the Chinese also realize that, you know, that the Malays may have certain idiosyncrasies, I call it, because of the cultural differences and all that. But the Malays must be roped in to work together.
True.
Because if there is no stability, if there are no Malays, there will be no stability.
We meet halfway midway, and then I mean to say that you can live by yourself according to I mean, come on, this is Malaysia
we should simplify things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, past might have put forward a very kind of an extreme scenario. I think it's own political survival.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. In fact, they also have given up. Prime Minister asked Bersatu to take because they seem to have a better nexus with the Chinese and Indians than themselves. So I think we're living in. I mean, times are changing. I mean, I think Pakatan Harapan doesn't have a monopoly.
What about your party yourself, Prof? I don't think they're going to register your party, so they have refused it. So now you're going to go to the court.
Yeah.
And when do you expect the decision?
I mean, I hope I can give you a date. I think the matter is in court, and I think constitutionally speaking, they cannot deny us the registration.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they think that it's a cover for an underground movement or something like that. if they can prove it, no? So basically, the reason they opposed our registration is because they see so as part of the opposition front, no? Criticizing the government and all these things. That doesn't matter. I think what we have done is basically, ours is a United Rights of Malaysian Party. In short form, is URIME. So we are taking URIME as more of a social movement now. Talking to people, getting support, raising issues and everything. So I think it's not for me. I'm not sure when is it going to register. I think it will be registered, but when, I'm not very sure.
So, assuming that you are not registered before the next election, you must contest the next election.
Well, that I think we will decide when it comes to that.
Okay. I'm sure that's a politician way of saying, yes, you will contest the next election.
No, I will never.
But you will contest the next election.
I have contested before.
Yeah.
And definitely, if I have given a chance,
You will.
I will.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. I think
thanks,
that's a
Dato'.
good chit chat. And then my next trip to Penang, I will call you for some nasi kandar.
Nasi kandar.
Not nasi kandar lah, banana leaf or something.
Banana leaf, we go for that. Nasi kandar is a bit.
Yeah.
Is a bit.
But the durian is no longer there.
No.
No more, huh?
I do see selling streets and all. Maybe durian you have to go.
Where
to,
is your house?
Simpang 4. Yeah. So before you go to the island. So
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
So that's Malay area, no?
It's pretty much mixed.
Mixed.
So it's in the Sungai Bakap area.
Yeah, Sungai Bakap.
Majority are Malays. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for your day.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll catch up with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, good.